One day, a rabbit was wandering among the hillsides, and at a short distance from him, he observed a tent belonging to some Indians. Being timid, he crept up to the side of the tent and peeped through a small hole and saw inside of it a frog sitting near the fire. The rabbit, seeing no danger, accosted the frog thus: "Brother, what are you doing?" The frog replied, "I am playing with the ashes. My brothers have gone off hunting, and I am here as I have a very sore leg and cannot go far." The rabbit rejoined, "Come with me, and I will keep you." The frog answered, "I cannot walk as my leg is too sore." The rabbit offered to carry the frog on his back. The rabbit took the frog and, giving him a toss, threw him on his back and said, "This is the way I will carry you." So they started for the home of the rabbit, where, upon arriving, the rabbit placed the frog inside of the tent while the former went out to look for something to eat. While seeking food, the rabbit suddenly spied a smoke curling from among the willows which grew along the branch of the creek. He became frightened and started to run homeward, exclaiming, "I have forgotten my crooked knife, and I must go quickly to get it." This part, or what the rabbit says to himself, is sung as a song, with an attempt at imitation of the rabbit's voice. The rabbit ran hurriedly home and sprang into the tent, whereupon the frog, observing the fright of the other, inquired, "Brother, what is the matter that you are so excited?" The rabbit answered, "I saw a large smoke." "Where is it?" inquired the frog. The rabbit replied, "It is from among the willows along the creek that runs nearby." The frog began to laugh at the foolish fear of the rabbit and answered him that the smoke proceeded from the lodge of a family of beavers, and taunted the rabbit for being afraid of such a timid creature as a beaver when they're good to eat, adding that his own brothers often carried him to the beavers' houses to kill them when they were out of food, although his brothers could never kill any of them. The rabbit was pleased to hear the frog was such a great hunter, and gladly offered to carry the frog to the lodge of the beavers that some food could be procured. The frog accepted the offer and was carried to the creek bank. The rabbit then built a dam of stakes across the stream and below the lodges in order that the beavers should not escape. The frog then directed the rabbit to break into the top of the lodge so that the frog might get at the beavers to kill them. While the rabbit was breaking into the lodge of the beavers, the frog purposely loosened some of the stakes of the weir below in order to allow the beavers to escape, hoping that the rabbit would become angry at him for so doing. When the rabbit saw what mischief the frog had done, he took the frog and roughly shoved him under the ice into the water. This did not harm the frog, as it could live underwater as well as on land. But the rabbit did not know that, so he believed he had drowned his brother the frog. The rabbit then returned to his home, regretting he had acted so harshly, and began to cry for his brother. The frog, in the meanwhile, killed all of the beavers and tied them together on a string, then slowly crawled to the rabbit's home with his burden on his back. The frog crept up to the tent, but was afraid to enter, so he began to play with the door flap of the tent to make a noise to attract the attention of the rabbit within. Finally, he cried out to the rabbit, "Brother, give me a piece of fire, for I'm very cold." The rabbit did not recognize the tired, weak voice of his brother frog, and, afraid lest it be some enemy endeavoring to entice him from his home, picked up a piece of dead coal which had no fire on it and flung it outside. The frog then said, "Brother, there is no fire on this piece, and I cannot cook my beavers with it." The rabbit then ran out quickly and tenderly carried the frog inside, and immediately the latter began to moan and appeared to suffer so much that the rabbit inquired what was the matter and asked if the beavers had bitten him. The frog said, "No, it was you who gave me such a hard push that you have hurt me in the side." The rabbit assured the frog that the injury was unintentionally caused. The frog then directed the rabbit to prepare and cook the beavers. The rabbit went out to fetch them, but he began to eat and did not stop until they were all devoured. After having finished eating them, the rabbit went for a walk. Ere long, he noticed a huge smoke curling from the farther end of a valley, and becoming greatly frightened, he exclaimed, I have forgotten my crooked knife, and I must go quickly to get it." He dashed into his door in a terrible state of mind. The frog coolly inquired, "What is the matter that you are so scared?" The rabbit said, "I have seen a great smoke at the farther end of the valley through which the creek runs." The frog laughed loudly at his fear and said, "They are deer. My brothers often had me to kill them, as they could not kill any when we had no meat." The rabbit was delighted at that, so he offered to carry the frog towards the place. The frog directed the rabbit to make a snowshoe for the one foot of the frog. The rabbit soon had it made and gave it to his brother. The frog then said, "Carry me up towards the smoke." The rabbit slung the frog on his back, and away they went in the direction of the deer. The frog then told the rabbit to stand in one place and not to move, while he would work at the deer, and when he had finished, he would call him up to the place. The frog killed all the deer in a very short time, skinned them, and stuck the head and neck of one of the deer into the snow so that it would be looking towards the place whence the rabbit would come. The frog then took the lungs of one of the deer and put it out to freeze. The cold turned the lungs white as tallow. The frog shouted for his brother rabbit to come quickly. When the rabbit came bounding near, he saw the eyes of the deer's head staring at him in a queer manner. He was so much alarmed that he exclaimed to the frog, "Brother, he sees me!" The frog smiled and said, "I have killed him. He is dead. Come on, I have a nice piece of fat saved for you." It was the frozen lungs of the deer. So he gave the rabbit a large piece and told him to eat it all and quickly, as it was better when frozen and fresh from the deer's back. The rabbit greedily swallowed large portions and did not observe the deception. After a time, they built a lodge or tent for the night. Some few hours after the tent was made, the frozen deer lungs which the rabbit had eaten began to thaw, and it made the rabbit so violently ill that he vomited continually the entire night. The frog had served him this trick as a punishment for having eaten all of the beaver meat 2 days before.